I remember falling in love with photography. It was a fairly straightforward process. I picked up the family's point and shoot, and because of my natural want to be creative, I started experimenting. And the world of photography is limitless, and so I was hooked. And I remember never leaving the house without that camera. I took it pretty much with me everywhere. But unfortunately, I stopped that. I only ever brought my camera to paid jobs, paid gigs, and that was a big mistake. A mistake I'm happy to report has been corrected thanks to this little guy. Hi guys, my name is Stefan Sago, and in today's video, I'd like to share with you how the Fujifilm X-E4 restored my love for photography. I do want to preface this video by saying that this is not a review. This is pretty much sharing my lifestyle and how the Fujifilm X-E4 fits it. Body and size. Surprise, right? But in all seriousness, the ergonomics to this camera make a huge difference for me. I can grab it along with grabbing my house keys and just head out the door, put it in my pocket, take it out the moment I see something interesting that I want to take a photo of. That to me is really powerful, and it makes a huge difference because it takes me back to those days where I was experimenting with that point and shoot. I feel like a little kid again with this camera. Just I'm able to do whatever I want. It doesn't get in the way. And I actually find myself not turning the camera off at all. With my walks, I have the camera on constantly because it's not a burden to have it be carried with me the whole time. I'm just snapping photos of things that I like. And to me, that is very inviting. And that's why form factor is number one for me. When I was doing my research on the X-E4, a lot of Fuji veterans, let's call them, mentioned the lack of certain buttons and that was a hard transition for them. You know, this is my first Fujifilm camera, so I really don't have that adjustment. I'm able to just pick it up and start shooting. However, what I do notice is missing here is a mode dial, which is very strange for me because I come from cameras that all of them had mode dials. But I get it. It's quite liberating not to have a mode dial. The whole camera is in a certain mode, and NAD mode is do whatever you want. As long as you know the basics, aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, you can set them manually, or you can set each one of them to be automatic. And that is liberating. You're freed. You don't have to make a decision in terms of which mode you want to be in. But speaking of modes and dials and switches, I really do think it would have been nice to have a video and a photo switch. I think that would have made things easier. Still, love the simplicity. Remote shooting or Wi-Fi connectivity, whatever you call it. Hey, this one's a bit controversial. A lot of people are having a tough time trying to connect this camera to their phone. And I'm really sorry to hear that. I haven't personally experienced any of those issues, maybe earlier. So I am acknowledging, yes, there are real issues. But for me, it was realizing that I just have to work around those specific issues and not confuse the app further. Yes, the app is a bit problematic, let's call it. So my personal issue was when I would set the camera to remote shooting, it would work beautifully. Hey, tap to focus, set a timer, click, pose, it takes the picture, right? But when I wanted to view the photo, my mistake was exiting remote shooting and going to the playback mode. And that completely threw off the camera. It would send a signal that I no longer needed the camera to be connected, and the camera would turn off. So I then realized I can actually view my photos within the remote shooting mode. I can just tap the bottom left corner, view my photos, and when I'm done, go back and continue shooting in the remote shooting mode. I hope this helps. For me, really, I haven't had any issues with the remote shooting app. Love the Wi-Fi connectivity, very simple, very easy. When a tool is designed well for its intended purpose, then in my opinion it becomes inspiring to use, like a good pen or a watch or even a screwdriver. But in this case, this camera, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what those things are for each person because that is subjective to personal taste. For me, it's the all-metal body, the touch screen, the fact that I can accessorize this camera, and the little lens, the color. So many things about this camera makes me actually think about it, and thus makes me want to shoot more with it. It's such a pleasure to be embraced by the world of photography once again, especially where I am right now in my life. I love it. It's where I want to be. Just kind of lose myself doing creative whatever, right? But hey, this is a new camera and I know some of you guys might have questions about it, so please feel free to ask them. If I know anything, I will answer them or make a separate video. But without further ado, thank you. I appreciate you for watching and listening. Take care. Let's go.